What's going on, everybody? Back with a special edition of the FILA Sports Podcast, the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Two local guys talking local sports, and we got a treat for you today. What's going on, Don?
What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Glad y'all could join us. We're talking about Tech football today. I know the past few days ago we talked about UGA, so we didn't want to leave Tech out. So we're a hometown podcast. We're gonna talk about every college team. Georgia State, Kennesaw State, Georgia Southern. Y'all want to talk about y'all teams, y'all squads for the
Clark
2019 football season? Hey, hit us up. We'll bring you on.
Yeah.
We'll bring you
Yes,
on.
we'll be talking about Morris Brown. Clark and Morehouse, but I guess we won't talk about Morris Brown.
Hey, we can talk about them too.
No, ain't no team. It ain't no team.
I know Morris Brown ain't got no team, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's what I said. We can talk about Clark and Morehouse, but we can't talk about Morris Brown.
Hey, we can talk about if somebody played on the Morris Brown team back in the 90s, in the early 2000s, they want to relive the glory years. Hey, they come on up. They come on talk about it.
I was in the AUC back then.
I was too. I ain't go to school there, but I went to the games stuff.
Right. But joining us today, we have former Georgia Tech running back Jimy Lincoln. What's going on, Jimmy?
Hey, not too much, man. Thanks for having me on, by the way.
No problem, man. We're glad you can be on, man. And
sounds good.
Hopefully, everybody who joining in, they in for us a good treat tonight. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also, if you know any Atlanta sports fanatics, please share our content with them and tell them to subscribe as well. Also, hit that like button. And if you're watching this show at a later time, please hit us up in the comment section and we'll get back with you. As always,
come holla.
It's your hometown sports podcast. All
right. Now, for those of you who don't know, because Jimmy, I gotta say, you and I are a little bit more mature than some of our listeners that we get. Georgia Tech. Jimmy got a little hardware while at Georgia Tech, and recently, I guess the fan base, they aren't used to that and haven't seen that. But, many people don't know that, Georgia Tech was a power. It was a perennial power back then. So can you tell them a little bit about the state of Georgia Tech when you were there?
Yeah, I came in, man. It's weird, right? Because the coach at the time was Bobby Ross. I think Bobby Ross went to Georgia Tech from Maryland. And the number, probably about 3 years, man, turned it around because they were struggling for a long time. Past their glory days in the early, back in the 60s or 50s, somewhere around there, man. Georgia Tech was good then, and then they went into a hole. But Bobby Ross came in, man. I came in right at the time that everything turned around, and I got there in '90. And it was magical, man. I mean, I don't know what he did to them before I got there, but man, the dudes that were there when I got there, man, it was magical. It was I couldn't have asked for a better situation, man, to come in and a bunch of good guys on the team. The coaches seemed to really be interested in the player as a whole and not just football. And it was magical, man. That 1990 year was something special.
Now, something a little off script that I just thought about, I really just thought about right before we came on that was interesting that I wanted to ask you about. So when you were at Tech, you guys ran the option, right?
We did. We had a bunch of pro style as well, but the option was there. Yeah, definitely with Sean Jones running the quarterback position.
Yes, sir.
And then even that 1990 year, I didn't play that year, man. I was almost in every game because there was an injury here, an injury there. But William Bell and Jeff Wright, T.J. Edwards, all of those guys running the ball with Sean at quarterback.
Oh,
Man,
I
it was
remember.
it was nice.
So the reason I ask you about that is because I wanted to ask you, do you think that the option can survive in today's college football? And of course, you know why I'm asking that.
Yeah, definitely, because the option is just a form of play action, right? You can play action off of that option and still throw the ball if you have the right quarterback in position. I mean, I think the option run pass is a great thing, man. So I definitely think it can work in college football and NFL. You see NFL teams run that play action thing too, man, and hide it, fake it to the running back, and the quarterback hides that thing on his hip, and everybody's fooled, right? All it takes is a good head nod from the quarterback, and those DBs are coming up. I think it definitely can work in college.
Yeah, that, and you also got to,
Okay.
and here's my thing too. I also think you got to have a good, line as well. Like Tech, and another thing too about Tech, recently running option, they just didn't have the personnel, man. They didn't have the recruiting power.
Yeah, that's you know what, I think this is just my opinion, man, but I just think it's the scheme, right? Because those kids have talent, man, or they wouldn't have been recruited, right? That's just my
Yeah.
opinion. It's just that the coach has to put them in the right position, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think about when I first came in and Bobby Ross ran that pro style with the option, and then Bill Lewis came in, we went to a one back, man. We went to a one back
Yeah.
set, and we didn't have the right players to play in his system, and you can see it. The first year, 1992, I think we were 5-0, man, until we hit Florida State, and Charlie Ward won the Heisman off of that game. In the second half, the dude went bananas, man. That second half, man, and they scored. We were up by like 14, I think, and he scored 17 points, man, and went on to win the Heisman. But what happened was we had good enough athletes that we were able to transition into that, both the offense and the defense, because most of that stuff changed when Bill Lewis came in. And I think the same thing with these kids going from Paul's offense into Jeff Collins's offense. It may take them a little while to get accustomed to it, but it just depends on what type of players they are.
I remember
Okay.
Coach Lewis because he used to coach. He was Dooley's assistant back in the 80s.
He was, yeah, he definitely was.
Tried to come in and put UGA a UGA field on Tech, and that didn't work out
Yeah,
for him.
yeah, that whole thing, man. I never understood that, man. Why would you bring a Georgia guy to Georgia Tech? And I
Yeah.
believe he may have had some sort of connection with Georgia Tech even before that. I'm not really
He
sure,
did.
but it,
He
it was it
did.
was weird to me,
Yeah.
man. Not only me, it was weird to a bunch of the cats on the team. So that whole thing just didn't fit well with a lot of the players on the team, man. When he came in and kind of did what he did with the program.
Yeah. Uh,
Good
let's go into
stuff,
the
man.
chat
Very,
real
very,
quick,
very good stuff.
Coach.
Okay.
Say it again.
I was saying, very good stuff, very good stuff, man. We want to go into our chat real quick and
Okay.
highlight people in our chat. What's going on, Jonathan Foskey's checking in the chat. Kojak is checking in. Appreciate y'all guys checking. What's going on, Nakia? Nakia checking in for the Wolverines.
What's
Kojak
up?
showing
Hey.
Kojak showing love for the Morris Brown kids. Yeah, like I said, I was at Morehouse during that time. Who else? What we got going on? He said, "Okay, we beat Morehouse by a field goal that year. We had Doug Williams. Yeah, that was my sophomore year. When we had Doug. Yep. And the kid said they had Ken Swilling in safety. Yes, sir. Ken Swilling, man. Back then, Jimmy brought up Sean Jones. Man, Sean Jones used to run that option. Man, I loved Sean Jones back then. Man, I was a Georgia Tech man. Man,
Yeah,
they used to run that option. Boy,
yeah, he was nice. He was nice
and
at
he could
that
throw it
quarterback
too. And
position,
he could
man.
throw it too. And he could
Yeah,
throw it too.
definitely,
Look,
definitely.
look. Sean Jones now would be a first round pick, but back then they
Yeah,
weren't giving us a chance.
it's weird. It's weird to me, man, because I see some of the guys, coming out of college now at that position, And I'm like, man, we had a quarterback that was he was doing that.
For
You know,
real,
he was
that
doing
was
that
doing
20,
that.
25 years ago. He was doing it.
Yeah. Sean Jones, Tracy Ham. If y'all don't know these people, look these people up. They will be first round picks nowadays. Um,
Definitely.
all right, so one of the things I wanted to ask you, we kind of touched on it. So you basically, pretty much have said that you think Paul's offense can exist today,
Yeah.
and but you do we all understand that the kids want to go to the NFL, especially with the offensive linemen. So that was the thing with Paul's, you know, guys going to play offensive line at Georgia Tech probably
Right.
know they're probably not going to go to the NFL. So it's hard for him to recruit top
Right.
offensive linemen and wide receivers because they realize that they're probably not NFL guys.
Right. Well, hey, let me retract a little bit, man. Let me clear
Okay.
myself. I think the option can work, but what he was running can't work. I don't know how they were
Oh,
able to
okay.
do what they did with that offense, man. I really don't. I have
Okay.
no idea. I mean, if you look at, when we ran into those SEC teams, for the most part, man, they figured it out in a couple of series. They figured it out, man, and we weren't able to do much. I mean, the stuff is really, really elementary, man. That I guess it was triple option or something. Now
Yeah.
that offense can't work. But if you have um a percentage of option plays where you have, now I'm not talking about wishbone or anything like that, but a two back set and the quarterback, you can run option off of that.
Okay. So basically you're saying you don't have no problem with option, but you're gonna have to throw the football some too.
Yeah, you have to throw the
Okay.
football. You
Yeah. I
have
mean, I
to.
agree. I
They're gonna
agree with
put
you.
they're gonna put 10 in the box, and hey, let's see who wins.
I certainly agree with you. So, uh, one of the things that's often asked about tech or said about tech, many people believe that given the academic restrictions, that tech can't be a winner year in and year out. And you have others that think that, hey, that's ridiculous. Stanford's, pretty much doing it. Notre Dame pretty much is doing it. There are other schools, in the ACC with academic, restrictions that are
Right,
doing it. What are
right.
your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I'll be honest, man. I'm not the smartest cat, man. You know what I mean? I went to Georgia Tech. I was able. I was nah. I mean, it's just really, man. I'm not. I'm not the smartest cat. I'll study and I'll be able to pick things up. I got in. I was able to get out. And again, man, these kids. If you look at what's happening with recruiting right now, man, it tells me that these kids wanted to go to Georgia Tech, right? Because Jeff is having no problems uh, uh, getting kids to come or signing early or whatever you want to call it. I just think, man, like you mentioned earlier, they didn't want to play in that offense. You don't have a tight end. Nobody's throwing. You're not really. You have a running back basically running the quarterback position, and you're not throwing the ball. Who wants to go there? The defense is going to be on the field a lot, right? So they're going to be wiped out most of the time, man. Because although the offense they gashed a couple people for long plays, but again, those long plays that's like 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes on the bench for the defense. They come back in the game, they're still winded.
Okay. What do you think, Don? What's your thoughts on that?
I agree. That's why I said, like, as far as offensive lineman, like, I don't want to, like, in a triple option. Like, no, I don't want to. I don't. If I'm an offensive lineman, I don't want to play on a team like that.
Right.
You know, because you got to realize, like, yes, they don't want to. They don't want to go. Most most offensive linemen, all right, they do better getting up into the levels, getting up to second, third level. All right, doing all that pulling and screens and all that stuff. Don't nobody want to do all that running. I'm not even a big guy. I'm not a big guy, but I'm just saying, like, as far as the offensive line, like,
well,
you have a choice of Tech, Clemson, UGA, Alabama, Tennessee, Florida. Like, Georgia Tech be on the bottom of my list as far as going to school there, because look at the offense they was running. under Johnson. You know, Collins, he's going to be playing more pro style. So I give him a couple more years. He's going to be getting a lot of 5-star recruits. And a lot in the state of Georgia, a lot of players in the state of Georgia, they're going to start going to Tech. I'm telling you, they're going to start stealing UGA boys in a couple of years because, look, you got a choice, Athens or Atlanta.
Yeah, that's not a difficult choice, man.
Yeah. I normally don't bring up my son's recruiting on here, but I have a son. He's a senior in high school, and so he's been playing football for years. I know several kids at Tech now. I know several kids that Paul recruited. I know several kids that are committed there this year. Several kids, you know what I'm saying? So I do know several, and the vibe is totally different, especially with recruiting. Paul was laid back. Paul was laid back in recruiting. Coach Collins is certainly a much more go-getter, but Paul Johnson was certainly. I like Paul Johnson too, personally, but he was certainly much more laid back. Coach Collins is a go-getter.
He's old school. He's old school. He had that Bo Schembechler's ideal of hey, I'm not gonna beg you to come here. I'm not gonna do all this extra to have you come here. You want to come here, you go do it on your own. Like you gonna want to if you want to be a yellow jacket, if you want to be a yellow jacket, then you go be a yellow jacket. I'm not finna try to use reverse psychology or go to your house and spend a night in your on the floor, sleep on your floor, and barbecue, put y'all on a boat on the river or lake. I'm not gonna do all that. You want to come? You want to go to Tech? Hey, but that was Paul's idea. That's how most old school coaches do things.
I don't really know him too well, but I understand he used that excuse that academics was too tough. That's why he wasn't able to get some of those top notch players. And when I was coming out of high school, man, they didn't have that star rating, right? And a lot of people give credence to those stars, man. But again, if you're a player, I don't give a freak if you got a half a star, man. If you're a player and in your heart you can play, I don't care what star, how many stars you have, man. Go get that kid. Like there's a kid, I can't remember the kid's name right now, but on Twitter, he was saying, look, man, I don't care what kind of stars, how many stars they give me. When you put me on that field, I'm going to show you what I can do. And that kid like that, if I get 11, 12, 22 kids like him, we're going to win some ball games, man.
Yeah. But before we get into the next topic, man, I have to tell y'all, I'm very much in tune and up on recruiting and things of that nature. In these publications, shout out Coach Watson too. Man, y'all have to realize these publications need clicks for their site,
right?
For subscribers. So they're gonna put these headlines out there so these fans, these rabid fans, especially us in the South, will subscribe to these sites and click so we can read about these guys and know. And you also have to know too, no way. You everybody heard about the story a couple years ago where Rivals got catfished about a kid, completely made up a profile, completely made up everything, and Rivals had him rated as a 4-star kid, didn't even exist. Kid made up everything. If you are a kid and you commit to a Power 5 school, you immediately become a 3-star. Like some of these publications have never even seen you play. So these publications are for clicks, man. Don't get all caught up that, some of the kids are good, but you believe like Rivals have a thing where they come out and say they're only going to have so many 5-star kids a year. Like, well, what if it's 100 5-star that year? What if it's 25? Don't get caught up in that stuff, man. But we'll stay on topic. I'm sorry.
Right. Nah, that's my bad, man.
No. That was good. I actually want to. You kind of segued into what I wanted to ask you about anyway. You said you didn't know Coach Johnson as well. I wanted to know, do you know Coach Collins as well, and how do you think the new staff will transition?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't met him yet. They had the Legends of the Flats. I went there, wasn't able to, to introduce myself to him. But from my vantage point, man, my viewpoint here is he's doing everything. He's doing all the right things right now. He's invited all of the all the former players to come, which I think is a huge step in the right direction. With Paul Johnson, that guy. I mean, we had those reunions for the national championship team, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he didn't seem to be too interested in us coming. He wasn't involved too much with the planning, but everything that Jeff Collins is doing at this point, I think is excellent, man.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I love the Waffle House Wednesday things they do every Wednesday.
Right, right,
In the Waffle
right.
House, we're talking about different things about the program and everything. I like, okay. See, this is something good. You bringing a new culture into the program.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
The
Yeah,
the the
I think it's and I can speak on it personally because I had that transition from one coach that was kind of the a player's coach to a dude who was like a military sergeant. I can
Mhm.
remember. I remember. I was like, I think it was January 4th, man, 1992. I still remember it. And we had a team meeting, and they told us that Bill Lewis was coming. Going from Bobby Ross to Bill Lewis, man, it was really night and day. And the dude came in. We were all in the meeting waiting for him to come. Everybody's relaxed. We had our caps on, had our feet on the back of the seats. Just relaxed. And the dude came in like, "Hey, take your caps off, put your feet flat on the floor." I'm like, "Is this the military, man? What are you talking about?" And so I can see the difference in Paul Johnson and Jeff Collins, man. And again, I think what he's doing so far is great. We just have to make sure all of that translates to the field. And I think just give him some time, man. And I think he's the right guy for the job.
I remember
um,
Bobby Ross. He left to go to San Diego after 91 season. Then
Right,
yeah.
right, right.
and then he was in Detroit for a while too, right?
Yeah, he left there and went to Detroit. Some
Yeah.
people say that he ended Barry Sanders' career, but but but
That's not something great to have on your resume.
yeah, I know, right? I
It
mean,
ain't
you
Bobby
make
Ross. That's just Detroit Lions. They players always dog no return.
man, you
Look
made
at
he made the
Megatron.
greatest running back ever, man. Hang him up.
Look what they did to Megatron.
Say it
Megatron.
again.
Megatron. Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, like you said, it must be the organization, man.
The organization.
But but
Calvin
they
Johnson. He can still come out there now and still put up great numbers. And then
yeah, I'm sure he can. I'm sure he can, man. But again, man, I think right now Jeff Collins is doing everything that he needs to attract those high profile players, if you will. And his social media game is crazy. That social media I mean, especially on Twitter, man. That thing is fire right now, man.
And they are certainly selling the city.
Uh,
Certainly selling the city.
I don't see
One
why
of
you wouldn't. Why wouldn't
and,
you?
and something else I like that he's done. Tashard Choice and Marco Coleman, two former Georgia Tech greats, are on the
Yeah,
staff. How do you feel
yeah.
about that?
That's cool. I mean, I think it's good, man. And then also don't forget Brent Key as well.
Oh yeah,
But
you're right. Yeah, yeah.
um
Coach Keith.
and
Shout
then
out Coach Keith.
carries on.
Right, Coach Keith.
I mean, he brought back a bunch of guys who went through the program. I mean, who better than those guys than to explain and teach these new kids, how to get through that program. Look, I walked the halls here, man. I walked the hill to go to class. I was on the Stinger riding around campus. I know this campus, man. Who better to do that than somebody who actually, did it? So I think it's great, man. Again, that's a second step in the right direction.
get people that know the program. That's like I said, man. They're gonna be doing good. They're gonna be doing some good things. And I'm not finna get my. I'm not gonna put my expectations high for this year, but
Right.
I'm pretty sure they can win easily. They can easily win 6 more games, like 6 games, 6 to 8 games. I think that's ideal for Tech this year.
Look, I think if and from everything I see from the outside looking in, although I consider myself part of the program, I don't see why they couldn't get 6 wins this season, man. Even with a brand new coach, because again, man, it only takes the player believing that his coach believes in him, and from everything I see, Collins believes in these dudes, man, and these dudes believe that he truly believes in them, and that's all you need.
Yeah. The name
And
of
you
this
go out there.
before. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Hey, I didn't hear you, man.
I said you go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was done. You were saying something. It kind of.
Yeah, I was saying, but even with last year before Collins arrived, like when they played Miami, that game that they won that game. That right there gave me hope for a good future for Tech. You
Yeah,
know,
I think again, man. I think it's just putting those guys in the right position, right? I don't know how many of those guys played in a triple option in high school. Does anyone run that option that offense anywhere? I mean, how you gonna take me from kind of a pro style offense and then put me into this triple option that they haven't run since the only teams that run it are the academies like Army, Navy. They haven't run those freaking things since 1913, man. Nobody playing in that freaking offense.
that's Paul Johnson, man. He
And
coached
see,
for the Navy before.
the
Yeah,
the thing about Paul Johnson is, like it or not, he is a good coach. That's why he was able to survive. The man can coach football. Uh, it just seems like for the ACC and for a program downtown Atlanta, maybe it wasn't the right fit.
Yeah, didn't
yeah,
nobody
it was
want
it
to
was
do
it wasn't it wasn't sexy enough, man. It
Yeah,
was.
but I can see him at Iowa killing it. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying?
He can
yeah.
go
No,
out there in
hey,
You
Hawaii,
know?
like even Hawaii. He can go out there in Hawaii and do it.
yeah, he could go out there and
Yeah.
play that out west somewhere, but I don't know if he can do that at Iowa, man. Those boys from Michigan and Penn State and Ohio
They're gonna
State,
eat that up,
man.
huh?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man, they gonna lick their chops for that one, man.
But I remember
um,
2012. They did good that year and they won the Orange Bowl. They beat Mississippi State. So
That's true. I mean, you can't like you said, man. You can't take anything away from Paul. I think he averaged like 10 games, didn't he? Every season. I mean,
oh yeah,
through his career,
yeah,
he won 10. I think he was averaged like 9 to 10 game, season wins, right? I mean, you
yeah,
can't take that
yeah.
away
He
from
got
him.
no. That's what I said. The man can coach football. You can't. I mean, people. I tell people this all the time. You would be surprised. Even just go back and look and see how many games Paul won at Georgia Tech. Paul
Yeah,
Johnson won more
yeah.
football games than you think.
I
Than
think
people.
I think he's like
Yeah,
I know he's top five in wins. He
yeah,
might
so
be
he
he
yeah.
pretty
might be
much
even he
so
might
he
even
put
be number two.
so he pretty much up there with Mark Rick. Mark Rick, he averaged what 10 games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
fired him, right?
Exactly. Hey, but looking back now, hey, so long, Coach Rick. I won't say anything bad about Coach Rick though. I love Coach Rick, but hey, sometimes make a change. Falcons.
You, you have to.
Dan Reeves my all-time favorite Falcons coach. But I do understand sometimes it's time to make a change. I
That
do
that
get it.
is true. That is
Yeah.
true. That is
Um.
true.
So another thing I wanted to ask you. You played on the special teams. A special team. What made you guys special? And two part to piggyback on that. At what point did you know that hey, we're really good? Was it during the summer, during the spring, during the season? At what point did it hit you like, wow, we're really good?
Yeah, I think, man, again, that probably started maybe 88, 89 with Bobby Ross. So when I came in 90, man, those dudes they were ready to go, right?
You already knew. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, man, these dudes are serious about,
Okay.
I was like, I'm from Pittsburgh, man. I'm from City League. I didn't grow, I played in a city, right? We didn't, I wasn't, this if we had ratings, I wasn't this 4 or 5 star
Mhm.
recruit, right? And the league that I played in, that's the city league. And
Okay.
when I got there, when I came, to Georgia Tech, man, I was like, oh, okay, this is college football, right?
Okay.
I'm a little dude too, man. You know what I mean? I'm a little dude, and I get there, and running backs are like 4 or 5 inches taller than me. I'm like, what kind of running back is this, right?
Okay.
So I get there, man, and those dudes are ready to go, man. They were really clicking on all cylinders, man. So from the summer, early August, right? I was like, damn, these dudes have been, putting this together, man. It culminated in 1990, man, and they put that thing
Man.
together, and we went on that run, man, and it was definitely special. And the team was really a team. I go back to, I can only tell you my experiences, my personal experiences, but I go back to the transition. And with Bill Lewis, he was always talking about team me. We had shirts that had team, big team, little me. Bobby
Yep.
Ross didn't have any of that crap, man. He didn't have any of that crap. So let's just go play football, man, and win games. I don't
Yeah.
have to, get into your psyche that way to have you wear a certain type of t-shirt to get you motivated. If you're not motivated when you go on that field, somebody punches you right in the mouth, you're gonna go sit down somewhere. All of those dudes, I don't know if those dudes, most of those dudes were highly recruited or not, but those dudes were tough, man, and they played football,
Okay.
and it showed, right? I don't know about any ratings. Back then they had like Max Prep and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
This is old, man. This is old stuff,
Blue
right?
chip. Blue chip.
And I don't know if any of those dudes are on those All American teams, but those dudes played football, man.
Okay. Did
So
you
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Did you play with Marlon Williams at
Yeah,
all?
Man, Marlon was incredible, man.
Yeah.
Marlon's
Okay.
an incredible athlete, man. From
Yeah. I
South
went
from
to
Southwest
That's where I went to high
DeKalb,
school
man.
at. That's where I went to high school at. That was Catholic. That's
Okay,
why.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
played with
yeah.
his brother. I played with Rodney. Yeah. I played with
Okay,
Rodney.
okay, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Rodney
Yeah.
was a heck of a puncher too, man. That
Yeah.
dude kicked the
Obviously.
leather off the
Yeah.
ball,
Yeah.
man.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I played with Rodney. Yeah. Go ahead, Don. You was
Okay.
about to ask something. Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all remember 1990. So after y'all beat Virginia, it was just pretty much out to the races that year.
Yeah, I think after we beat Virginia, I think it was North Carolina was a close game. That's actually the game we tied. I think it was 13-13. And then Virginia Tech, man, I think we won on a field goal, Scott Sisson. So we still had a couple of close games after that. And then got to that Citrus Bowl, man. Those dudes are ready to go, man. Cuz you hear all that, they heard all that stuff about Georgia Tech's not that good, the ACC's not this, the ACC's not the Big 12 or the Big 10 or whatever the freaking conference was Nebraska was in.
Yeah.
And Marco Coleman and Thomas Balcom and Swilly and all those dudes didn't like that, man. What the frick you talking about? Dude, we didn't lose a game this year, man. You're not talking about us. We don't get anything.
Because that was
And
Nebraska, man. That was Coach Osborne, man.
yeah, legendary coach too. And William Bell came out running that rock, man. And it was all over at that point, man.
Dude, I remember at this time because I guess I was around sixth, seventh, eighth grade around that time, man. I remember William Bell. Man, he was the biggest running back I had ever seen in my life. I'm like, man, why is this dude not playing nose guard? Like, man, this dude running the football, man. And then
Yeah, man.
back in the day, those shoulder pads and those neck rolls, man, he was like the biggest dude I've ever seen in my life running the football.
Yeah, man.
Like,
Yeah,
who's gonna get in front of him?
they came out running that ball too, man. Then went to the play action, and I can't remember the corner at the time, but he was a high draft pick. The Falcons actually drafted him, and Bobby Rodriguez and Emmett Merchant, man, they were killing that cat, man. They were killing that dude out there, man.
Booker was the cornerback, right? Booker.
I think that might have been him, and I think they might have had the safety
Booker,
too.
maybe.
Something like I can't remember, man. But
Falcons drafted him and he got burnt up.
man, Bobby Rod and Emmett Merchant and who else was out there, man? I mean, they were pounding that. I mean, they were killing that dude, man.
I wanted to ask you about something that you mentioned. basically coming in and you saying that these guys were established and you were playing city league and you were a little guy. How'd you make the transition?
Look, man, I didn't want to go back to the projects, man. To be honest with you,
Okay.
you know what I
So
mean. I didn't want
you
to
had to
go
work,
back,
huh?
man. I'm
We
like,
know about that, man. We already
Okay.
know.
So you had to
yeah,
work
I
at
didn't
it.
want.
That's what's up.
I didn't want to go back, man. So that's how I made the transition, right? And my brother Eric, man, just always in my ear, man. Like, dude, you got to make this happen, man. And
Okay.
that's really it's simple, man. Either you want it or you don't, and it's really that simple.
So
For whatever reason you want it, just keep pushing that reason, man,
yeah.
and get it done.
So you from Pittsburgh area. So I'm thinking like Pitt, Penn State, Ohio State. What's some other schools in that area?
Uh,
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
yeah, I
Rutgers.
mean, yeah, Rutgers, Syracuse,
West Virginia.
Yep.
Michigan
West
State.
Virginia's not that far from y'all.
Yep.
You know,
Virginia Tech.
Say it again.
West Virginia.
West Virginia, Virginia Tech.
Yeah. Nah,
How'd you
definitely.
get all the way
My high
down
school
to
had
Georgia Tech?
my high school had a pipeline kind of to West Virginia, man. I played with Major Harris and Michael Booth. Both of
Oh,
those dudes went to
Major
West
Harris
Virginia,
is
man. So,
nasty.
Man.
oh man, come on, man. I still to this day, man. He's my favorite quarterback. That dude can't do no wrong in my book, man.
Jimmy,
But
we got a couple years on them. They don't know these people. They're gonna be Googling
yeah,
later. They like, who?
I
Major
mean
Harris?
he
Ooh, nasty.
yeah he was Michael Vick before Michael Vick, man.
Yes.
Definitely. You talking about a guy if he was coming out of high school or college now, and it would be they would have trouble, man. They would
So how'd
have
you get
trouble
all the
because
way to
dude.
Georgia Tech?
It's funny, man. That one of the running back coach, Danny Smith, is from Pittsburgh, so he
Oh,
kept he
okay.
kept the
Okay.
connection to Pittsburgh, man.
Yeah.
So he recruited. We had quite a few cats from Pittsburgh
That's
on
what's
the
up.
team, man. Russell Freeman started offensive line. Willie Clay is from
Willie
Pittsburgh.
Clay.
He was
Big Clay,
starting
Willie
corner.
Clay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's up.
yeah, yeah. So we had quite a few cats from Pittsburgh, man, because of Danny Smith.
Wow, that's interesting because I'm thinking like
Okay.
y'all got a lot of
That's what's up.
schools up there, and you
Yeah.
know, like a lot of it's a lot of like a lot of people say a lot of football talent come from Florida and Georgia. It's a lot of football talent up there in Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah. They
I
don't they
know.
don't get they don't get a lot of credit, man. But if you check most of the Super Bowls, there's a player from Western Pennsylvania on those teams, man.
Joe
Over
Namath,
the past 20, 30 years, they say.
Joe Montana, he was from that area, I believe.
Yeah, definitely.
Dan Marino.
So there's definitely so that's how I made it down there to Georgia Tech, man, via Danny Smith.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Go back to the chat real quick. Nakia made a couple comments. We were talking about, yep, Nakia, everybody is throwing the ball now. And he couldn't win the SEC. Who were you speaking of? You meant the ACC, Nakia? And he was saying Marlon, speaking on Marlon, is a beast as well. Yes, sir. Marlon Williams was a beast. Man, back then, like I say, man, back then, Tech was the certainly, the in, your career, Jimmy, what was your record against UGA in your career?
He about to shake some
Uh,
now, man.
No,
yeah,
no,
I think.
I'm just asking. There you go, Don. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
asking.
That's kind of a sore spot, man. Don't ask those questions like that, man. Now I'm joking. I'm
Okay.
joking. Now I'm joking, man. I'm joking. Uh, I know that first year we beat them. I think 91. I think 91 we beat them too, man. It might have been like I don't know,
Two and
two
two.
and two, 2-3,
Okay.
something like that. Because I think in like
Okay.
93 and 94 is when we had that fight with them. I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember that. Yeah, we had that
Yeah.
fight with them at Georgia Tech, man.
Of course.
Uh,
Yes, I remember.
yeah,
I
we
was
lost
in
that
like
game.
ninth or
We
tenth
lost
grade
that
then, so I
game, bro.
remember. Yeah.
we lost that game. I know that one.
Nikhil was saying he couldn't win SEC. He was talking about Mark Richt. he had to go because he's gonna win the SEC. Yeah, he getting close, but not over the hump. All
Yeah,
right, going forward, you think Coach Collins can take the program where it needs to go?
um, at this point, man, I'm gonna say yes, right? Again, I just think he has this pulse on the culture, man. These young kids, it just has to transition from all the social media stuff to the workouts to the practices and then ultimately to the field. Which, if again, it goes back to, and I think all the stuff is really simple, man. As a player, you always want your coach to believe that you can make those plays, right? So if your coach shows you that he believes in you, you're gonna go that extra step or do those extra reps or do those extra workouts or whatever the case is, man. And if they have the wherewithal, mentally on the field, then I don't see why he can't win, man. I mean, he's already gotten the Gatorade Player of the Year in Georgia, right? The running backs coming in. Paul
Yeah,
Johnson wasn't sniffing.
Sean.
Paul Johnson wasn't sniffing cats like that, man. Those dudes weren't even thinking about Georgia Tech. And then and
Jemiah
then
Griffin is who you
five
speak of.
and then 5 or 6 months later, this dude is attracting those. So that tells
Yeah,
me these kids wanted to go to Georgia Tech, but Paul Johnson thought they couldn't do it academically. I don't know. Again, man, I wasn't the smartest dude in the world. I'm not the smartest dude in the world, but I was able to make my way through there. And if I can do that, those other cats can do it too.
yeah, and yeah. Jemiah Griffin is the running back you speak of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Beast,
yeah.
beast. Huh?
I
Yeah,
see it. I see his highlights. I think he's number 6 or something like that. I believe.
yeah.
Yeah,
For
his
Rome
high
High
school
School,
number. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
Jemiah's personally, but I've seen him play. Whew.
Yeah, yeah.
Beast.
Look, hey,
Hey,
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the dude do well, man.
hey. So just in case, Tashard moved to wide receivers or something like that, if Coach Collins called and needed a running back coach, would you sneak down to the flats? Ever thought about any coaching?
Ah. Yeah, that would be fun, man. That would be fun. I would enjoy it, man.
I'm gonna take. Hey, I'm gonna let them know. Believe me, I'm gonna be over there. I'm gonna let them know. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
that would be
coach.
fun, man.
So what's your predictions for this season
Yeah,
for the Yellow Jackets?
Yeah, I'll give him 6 games, man. That's funny. My brother and I were talking about this probably last month, a month or two ago, and I said, man, they can get 6 wins easy, right? 6 wins with just showing up. I think so anyway. A lot of teams have lost key players, man. Miami's lost some players. North Carolina's lost a bunch of players, and North Carolina's going back to the future with bringing Mac Brown back. So I don't know
man,
how that's
for
gonna
real,
work.
right?
You know what I mean? They should have just hired me and let me be the head coach, learn on the job or something, man. I don't know, but 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 I mean they could definitely beat Miami, North Carolina. They Wake Forest. I know they show some promise, man, but they can beat Wake Forest. That's 3 games there, right?
Mhm.
You talk about Virginia Tech. I don't really know how strong they're going to be.
What about
That's
Clemson?
for. Say it again.
What about Clemson?
Well, I mean, listen, man, listen. It's the
Week one.
first. It's the first game. It's the
Yep.
first game of the season. I know nobody's giving us a chance to win. They have no idea what Jeff Collins is going to do in that game. They have
True.
no idea, man. None.
This is
What
true.
what offense are these dudes going to run? I know they can go back to his Temple film and all of that, but again, they have no idea what this dude is going to run defensively or offensively. I think we have a heck of a shot. Nobody thinks we have a shot, but I think we do because they have no idea what's coming at them.
Mark it down.
They have no idea what's coming at them, man. None. So
Jimmy
I think
man,
we have a shot. As long as those dudes keep fighting, and if Clemson happens to get up a couple of touchdowns and not give up, man, it's gonna show something in the type of kids that he has on his team. If those
So
dudes fight and fight and fight and not get too weary when they get punched in the mouth, because it might happen. Clemson's a good team, right? But they keep fighting, man. The rest of the season, the rest of those teams better watch out, man.
So we play. So do we play Clemson here at Tech, or do we play them?
No, it's there.
No,
It's there.
it's in Clemson.
Yeah. We played them here last year. I went to it. I went to the game, but it's here this year. First game of the year. The first game on the new ACC network.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good.
Everybody mark it down. Y'all clearly heard it right here. Jimmy just said that we're going to blow Clemson out week 1. All y'all heard him say it. Everybody heard you, Jimmy. Everybody heard you say it.
So you saying 6 wins. So bowl game or no bowl game?
Bowl game, definitely.
Yeah, they get 6. Georgia Tech go to the bowl game. They get 6.
Yeah,
the Georgia Tech, they'll sell tickets. Yeah.
I'm just going off of, if this first game goes well, right, which I think it will. I think it's gonna be an impressive showing for the football program, and after that, who do they play really, right? They're gonna start with the best. They're gonna start with the best team in the country, right?
Yeah, right.
And then you go back to 1990. People didn't really know what was going on at Georgia Tech. When we went on that winning streak, nobody was like, oh, okay, they won one game, they won this game, and then then we beat Virginia, who was supposed to be number 1 in the country. And those things just the games just started going, and Cats started, really playing some real good football, man. And things just happened.
Herman Moore, Virginia, right? Herman Moore.
Yeah, Herman Moore. Sean Moore. And who else?
More
Who else?
For y'all to Google. I know.
Yeah, man.
More people for y'all to Google. Major Harris, who we said, Sean Jones,
yeah,
and Herman Moore and Sean Moore. Google those people. More people for y'all to Google.
yeah, definitely, man. I have to go back to Major Harris, man. That's my cat from my neighborhood. We grew up, he's a few years older than me, but we grew up together, man. We're all from the same neighborhood, man.
That's what's up.
And again, man, Major Harris, man, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Tony Rice. Yeah. Those guys like that, they be first round picks now, man. Jamel Holloway, guys like that would be first round picks nowadays.
Hey, man, Jamel Holloway was a monster. He was a monster.
I gotta tell you, man, this has been one of my all time favorite shows, man. This is awesome talking to you, man. Reminiscing, going back down, man. Like just talking some Tech football, man. We appreciate you joining us. Let them know what you're doing now and where they can check you out at, Jimmy.
Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you guys for having me on, man. Talking to an old fart, man, about 25, 30 years ago, you know what I mean? I appreciate you too, man. Thank you for having me on your show. What I'm doing right now, man, I run a couple of music sites, man. SpitfireHipHop.com. Also an online radio station that pays royalty, so it's a real radio station. It's not just somebody on the internet just playing records just to play them.
Okay.
So we play music. It's all hip hop too. So it's Spitfire Radio is the radio, and you can get to the site by going to myksfr.com. That'll pull up the radio player. You can listen to hip hop 24/7, and then it's SpitfireHipHop.com, where we cover everything from news to videos to music. So we do a little bit of everything on the site, man.
And everybody will retweet the link to Jimmy's stuff on our page as well. Anybody following us will retweet Jimmy's stuff so you can check them out. So you're hip hop head, huh?
Yeah, a little bit, man. A little bit. I did forget we do have the merch too, man. So go check out the merch at shop.spitfirehiphop.com, man. So it ties into everything that we do there.
Okay, definitely. I seen it on your thing. We'll retweet it and retweet it on our page as well, man.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man. Again, I appreciate it. Look out for those Yellow Jackets, man. That first game of the season. I think it's gonna be a shocker for many, and the rest of the season, man, it's gonna be incredible. The energy is crazy right now.
Yes.
What's up, Don? Holla at
one more question. One more
Yes,
question.
sir. Yes, sir.
Do you think Tech is gonna beat UGA this year?
Let
course you
me.
gonna say
Hey,
yeah.
hey, listen. No, I'll be honest, man. Right? I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm not gonna say. I'm not that type of homer. Right? I'm not the type of
Okay.
homer.
Okay.
You know, if a team is good, they're good, and Georgia's been good, man. I can't. You know, I don't like them, but you know, I got to tell the truth, right? I have to tell the truth, and you know, it depends, man. It depends. Again, if Coach Collins can put the fight in these cats. I mean, you know, a cat that never. This is one thing that I know. I don't care how big you are, you know, small, the size, you know, the size differential. But if the little dude has a lot of fight in him, that big dude is in trouble because that little dude is not gonna stop. He's not gonna stop. If you got a little dude that fights and doesn't stop, man, that dude's he's a trouble. He's trouble for somebody, man. So if Collins can put the fight in these kids, I don't see why I don't see why we can't, man. We've done it before, right? When O'Leary was running through, you know, Georgia
Man,
Tech, and Joe Hamilton was running up.
beast.
Joe Hamilton was running up and down the field and throwing touchdowns everywhere, and he should have won the Heisman.
Yeah,
Who's that?
And damn, he
Ron.
got robbed. He was
Yeah, man.
robbed.
He
Boy, he
should have
was
he should have
robbed.
won the Heisman, man.
Yes,
But
he
you know,
should.
it's been done. We beat them several years in a row, man. In certain parts of the history and Tech, man. So again, if these kids believe in Coach Collins and Coach Collins believes in them, why not, man? It's football. You know what I mean. Everybody, laces up their shoes the same way.
There it is.
Oh, we got a response, so we don't know. So UGA or Tech, which one winning? You gotta say somebody, man.
See,
Hey,
John, yeah, you don't
I'm,
know him. You got to pick one with him, Jimmy. He don't
Hey,
allow
hey,
fence
hey,
stuff.
listen, man. Listen, I mean, again, man. Georgia might, they might be good, but I'm still going. I'm still going with the Yellow Jackets, man. I have to. I have to. Right?
All right.
I,
He
I guess.
happy
I
now.
guess. I guess. I, I guess. I guess I'll be a homer in that way, man. But
Yeah,
but listen, man. You never know who's going to show up for Georgia, right? You never know who they're going to play. What happens the week before that? So
yeah,
you're going off of what they did last year, maybe or the year before, right? And
yeah,
you don't have no idea what Tech's going to do this year because everything is new, right? The coach is new, the whole coaching staff is new, and you really don't know. So at this point, I'm riding with my boys, man. Yellow Jackets, man. As a matter of fact, we might go undefeated.
On that note,
Hey,
I,
hey,
I think
go
you done
with
had too
heart,
many
go hard,
rappers in
man.
your studio, Jimmy. You done had too many rappers in your studio. Bringing that stuff with them.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good season though, man. I think we'll definitely get 6 of them.
Yeah, that's what's up. Let them know, coach. Let them know. I mean, coach. I'm coach. Let them know,
This
Don.
is
Let
like
them know,
your
Don, where
studio.
they can. I know, right? I done been in the studio too. Let them know, Don, where they can check us out at and where they can check the show out
All
at,
right,
man.
y'all already know y'all can follow us on Twitter, at FILA_SP. You can also follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. It's FILA Sports Podcast. And you can also follow us on Instagram, same thing, FILA Sports Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also, if you know any other Atlanta sports fanatics, please share this content with them. And also hit that like button. And if you're watching the show at a later time, please hit us up in the comment section and we'll get back with you guys. We also have our content on Spotify and on Google Podcasts. So if you don't want to watch the live YouTube video, you can go to Spotify and go to Google Podcasts and you can listen to us over there as well. Just type in FILA Sports Podcast. You know our logo. Click on the logo, download the shows, and you can listen to them when you're working out or when you're driving to and from work or wherever. Or you just doing work around the house. You can just turn it on and listen to us then. All right. We'll be back Sunday. We're going to talk about Falcons training camp, the first week of training camp. So join us Sunday night for that.
It's going to be a 2-hour show. Come
on. Hey man, tell that dude Arthur Blanks to pay Julio, man. What is he doing, man? Pay that man his money.
They can't announce it till the 27th.
Man, pay that man, get that man his money, man.
Believe me, he get it. They just can't announce it till Saturday. Saturday, believe me, you're gonna hear the announcement. Yeah, he didn't work it out.
We're gonna be out there Saturday at the count.
Yeah,
we're gonna be out there Saturday.
Okay, man. Hey, put me on FaceTime or something. I don't know. Put it close to Arthur Blank, man. So, whatever his name is. Get that dude his money, man. Get that dude his money.
We'll let him know you said that. Definitely we'll let him know.
All right. As always,
come holla.
It's your hometown
sports podcast.
All right. Appreciate you, Jimmy, for being on.
Hey, man. Thank you guys, man. Appreciate it, man.
No problem. And everybody else, y'all have a good evening. We'll see y'all Sunday. Holla.